Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Dr. MichaelSytsma, and I am a licensed professional counselor, certified sex therapist, and ordained minister.
And my name is Shaunti Feldhahn, and I'm a social researcher, and I do not have all these credentials.
And we're co-authors of the book, Secrets of Sex and Marriage.
And we know that you guys have a lot of questions, and so we are going to be answering those questions. Is watching porn with your spouse okay?
Clinically, I tend to experience that bringing anything into the bedroom, any person into the bedroom that is not our spouse, tends to do damage longer term. I think if we think about pornography, what is its goal? The goal of pornography is to excite us. The goal of pornography is to draw us in, to captivate us. And there's a sense to where healthy sexuality does captivate us, but we want to be captivated by our spouse.
Not by this other thing, yes.
Not by a fantasy.
Yeah.
Or not by what somebody is pretending to enjoy. And I want to be captivated, I want my spouse to be captivated by me. And the knowledge that you're captivated by something else and draws away, I can get jealous about that. And jealousy is a good thing. God is jealous. The other aspect of pornography is it often teaches mythology about sexuality. That I have couples come in and they've been watching pornography and they think this is the way it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm sorry, bodies really aren't designed that way. Or brains really aren't designed that way. And you're buying into a mythology, and then we see ourselves or our spouses not measuring up. And that has a destructive effect into the process.
So there may be couples who are listening to this, maybe women or men who are listening to this, who may have seen a therapist who said, "Oh yeah, why don't you bring a little?"
Would not at all surprise me.
Not a faith-based counselor, and yeah, let's try this as an intervention.
Right.
And what you've seen is that's not uncommon, but it can be destructive. It can hurt our hearts. It can hurt the marriage.
It's always going to be destructive if it's done in secret, or if our spouse disagrees with it and we're engaging in it. That's a breach of covenant, a breach of contract, a breach of agreement between us. So that's always going to be destructive. But one of my favorite stories is I will do these Q&As in my workshops often, and couples can submit. I used to have them on big 4x6 cards, and they'd write them down and submit them anonymously. And I got a card that was clearly written by one person, had a pretty flowing script, I suspect may have been a female by how the question was asked. And there were two questions on the card. The first one was, why do you say pornography is not okay? We both enjoy watching it to kind of get us both aroused.
Yes.
Yeah. The second question was, how do I help my husband to see me as more than just my parts? And I'm reading this card and I'm thinking, asked and answered, because the pornography that you're engaged in, it's not focused on heart. It's not focused on drawing a couple into a deep, intimate, sensual relationship with each other. And you're training yourself towards something that is different from what your heart's really asking for. And so we have to be really careful of how we train ourselves, what we're watching, what we're allowing our brain to ingest.
Is sex really all that important in a marriage?
There are so many couples that one spouse or the other will come in and go, why does this have to be a big deal? When you take two people together who are wired very differently, because we're different, we have different DNA, we're going to be different people, and you put us in a close confines of a committed relationship called marriage, it's going to create friction. We're not going to agree with each other all the time. And if that friction is left unattended to, it will cause a nuclear meltdown in the marriage and the relationship. And I think it's so cool that we have something that we put into the mix of it that acts as the oil.
The something is the sexual relationship.
Yes, that we engage with each other and it totally transforms us physiologically. That in that moment, our bodies radically change. The chemical shift that goes on, the neurological shift that goes on is just profound. If it's good, the encounter ends with us going, wow, that was good. I kind of like you again. And we call it positive sentiment override in the field. That, you just did something that really hurt my feelings because you're who you are, and you didn't intend to hurt my feelings, but it was kind of stupid. But you can make me feel really good. And so I'll overlook it this time. And the sexual relationships helps to give those times that it feels really good. I enjoy being with you. And it can be really restorative and healing in a relationship. And what I experience clinically is when couples allow that to grind to a halt, that a lot of things that otherwise would probably be overlooked and there'd be grace for begin to be bigger and bigger issues. And we don't have these profound positive moments to help do some healing and glue us chemically back together again.
But maybe if there's hurt behind a question like this, the hard part is when you expect this is supposed to be the oil for the engine, this is supposed to be the lubricant for a marriage, and it's supposed to bring us closer. We're supposed to have those positive feelings, and yet everything seems to be shaking apart. And this thing that is supposed to be so precious is actually now a source of pain.
Right.
And so one of the things that I guess I would encourage for people who are asking this kind of question from a place of pain is that there is actually help available. I mean, this is what you spend 25, 30 hours a week doing. Right.
And a host of others that we've trained or have been trained elsewhere that work with these issues very specifically in a counseling environment. We'll work with couples that have gone decades without engaging sexually. And that can be healed. We know how to help them get back to it. It's a tough, often arduous journey of healing.
But worth it.
Oh, I think it's so worth it.
Yeah. We would encourage you to recognize that this is actually important. Statistically, we found that for marriages that were engaging sexually relatively regularly, even if it was, only, not as often as one or the other wanted, that there were these profound positive things that came in the relationship in the area of marital satisfaction and that kind of thing. So we'd encourage you, if that is you, to actually take that courageous step to get the help that you need.
Right.
Man, we could talk about this forever. We would encourage you truly, just get the book or another one written by a sex therapist, read it through together. Reading, stopping every couple of sentences or paragraphs and does this apply or whatever. But we would encourage you to get Secrets of Sex and Marriage, obviously, because it's ours. And if you are interested in learning more, look at the links in the description. And
subscribe.
And subscribe if you want access to more of these questions.